Good morning. Hello, who have I got on there? I'm just sharing with my group today. Alrighty. Hey Kim, hey Melissa. Good to see so many of you on this morning. Now I have to warn you, I am still, what have I just done? Just bear with me 1 second. Hey Lucy, again. Share in a group. A little bit of a technical hitch. Alrighty, so what I want to share with you today is probably an experience that I've been going through myself recently in the hope that it's going to help you guys. And today I want to talk to you about pulling the trigger on your next big thing and being stuck in fear. And you know, I've had so many experiences of this over the years where, you know, I had some huge success and then doubted myself to be able to back it up the next time around. And then, you know, over the last few years, I've been able to work through that. And now I've been able to see what it looks like on the other side of that. So you've probably heard that there's a couple of sayings. One is that the magic happens on the other side of fear. There's another one that says something along the lines of, I know what it feels like to quit, now I want to see what it feels like when I don't. And it's kind of that philosophy really. And what I mean by that is, you know, too often we let fear drive our decisions, and so we take a step back and we doubt ourselves and we let that drive our actions instead of just digging in and doing what we know we've set out to do and just following it through to the very end. And as I say, over the last few years, I've had a lot of experience in seeing it through to the other side and knowing what that looks like, and knowing now, you know, being able to look back, having experienced that, looking at all of those times before where I talked myself out of things or I let my fear drive my decisions and stuff like that. And so in the end, what happened was, you know, going forwards and then at a great rate of knots and then maybe a couple of steps back. And you might have experienced this yourself. And then we get to a point where it's time to draw a line in the sand and go big, you know, something that we have not done before, bigger than we've ever done before. And then usually what happens at this time is we're hit with a thing called the upper limit problem. And the upper limit problem is where you basically, all of your self-sabotaging behavior comes out to play, or other things get in your way, and it's really just a test from the universe to say, how serious are you about this? And we're just going to test you a little bit and just see how badly you want it. And so I'm still sick 2 weeks later, and I'm the sort of person that just, you know, I rarely get sick. I've been sick twice this year, and I'm doing big things in my business this year. So I've been sick twice this year, and I've been sick for 2 full weeks, and that just never happens to me. I can't hear out of my left ear. I'm spending most of the night coughing all night, so I'm getting very little sleep. And this is just not something that happens. And Katrina, my partner in these events that we're launching here and in the US, she's sick as well. And so the two of us are just limping along over the last couple of weeks, just trying to get stuff done, and the pressure's on, and there's just so much happening. And we're actually just laughing about this every day because something new is showing up every single day. And, you know, we had this conversation and we basically said, we're about to do something pretty huge. And so all of the doubts are creeping in. For example, the leads that Katrina was ringing yesterday, you know, half of them don't speak English and the leads aren't that great. So she's starting to get a bit of a panic up about the quality of the leads. And of course that, when she starts to talk like that, it started to get in my head a little bit, and I'm like, no. The people that are doing this for us have been doing this so many times. We're getting exactly the same leads that everybody else is getting. We're going to get better results than everybody else. And I just had to go and put myself, you know, talk myself off the ledge again, you know. And this is just what happens because we're investing a massive amount of money to run these 4 events. running events in the United States, like we've never done that before. It's something brand new to us. We're handing over control for a big portion of stuff. And so trying to coordinate stuff in a different country, handing over control, investing huge amounts of money, working together, we haven't done that before either, but it's really at gut level what we both know we need to do to take this thing, you know, this Rise event and this whole Rise movement to the next level, and it's what it's requiring. And so shit is showing up everywhere. We're getting sick, you know, things are just showing up all over the place. And that's what happens. So when we go for something big, when we're really extending ourselves in a big way and we're taking risks, it's what happens. You know, this stuff shows up, and it's really just the universe conspiring to really test how badly we want it. And it's also, you know, ourselves, you know, having to dig deep and find out really what we're made of. And one of the things that I said to Katrina is that, you know, not everybody's doing this, and that's because there's a huge risk. Not everybody's doing this because it's a huge investment. It's a lot of money. Not everybody's doing this because not everybody backs themselves to get the result when they have a room full of people. But we have all of that, and so we just keep going back to the, you know, the facts. And so what I want to share with you today is kind of my go-to when I can feel like the upper limit stuff is happening. I can't do much about being sick. You know, I'm doing everything that I can. I'm getting enough rest. I took 5 days off the gym, which was just ridiculous. And, you know, making sure that I'm feeding myself properly and taking all of my, you know, everything that everybody's suggesting. I want to say thank you too, because I've had so many people messaging me with homeopathic remedies and so many, you know, so much love is coming my way to help me get better. So I really appreciate that. So as I said, there's nothing I can do about that, but I can control what goes on in here, and I can control my actions. And that's what I've been really heavily focused on over the last couple of weeks. So I have my notes. And the first thing that we need to remember when we're upper limiting and we're living in fear and we're letting it hold us back from pulling the trigger on our next big thing, and that is we need to look at the facts. You know, Katrina and I undertook this thing because we had some solid facts in front of us. We had solid figures in front of us that made sense, and nothing has changed between when we first started and now, other than the mess that we've made in our heads from time to time. So the facts are the same. The facts are exactly the same as when we made the decision to move forward with it. So the first thing that you need to do is look at your why. Why did you start this thing, or why did you start with the idea of this thing? What made you excited about it in the first place? What made you think it would work in the first place? Go back, revisit those facts, because they haven't changed. It's really just what's changed is the way that you're thinking about things, and you can change that in a heartbeat. So go back and think about that. The next thing is stay in best case scenario. Always stay in best case scenario. Now I know that we like to, and in the early days I used to go, okay, this is best case scenario, and then if, you know, worst comes to worst and we end up here, I'm still okay with that. And I still do that. I still work, but I work from, okay, so if we get this many people in the room and this happens and this happens and this happens, this is what gut level I believe we can make happen. If everything goes right, this is what can happen. And then I get so freaking excited about the women that we're going to impact, the amount of women that we're going to be exposed to, the amount of work that we're going to get to do between now and the end of the year. And it's so exciting. And I look at it and I think that is so realistic. And then I think, well, what about if we do half that? Am I still going to be excited? Yep. What about if we even just manage a quarter of that? Yeah, it's still pretty friggin' incredible. And so when you step it back like that, when you go best case scenario, and then you look at what you can live with under that, and then for me, that always talks me off the ledge. It always makes me come back and go, yeah, what am I worried about? There's nothing to worry about here. But I stay in best case scenario. It's like, you know, if we work really hard and we do everything right, we can achieve those numbers. So that's exactly what we need to focus on. And so I do stay in best case scenario. That's not me being living with my head in the clouds, or you know, living in make-believe or anything like that. That is just me backing myself to know that when I'm at my best and when I follow through on everything, I can achieve freaking amazing things, and you can too, and you know that, because you wouldn't have set those intentions in the first place if you didn't truly believe it on some level. And then the next thing that I like to do is I like to focus on achieving big things outside of my business. Because when you're succeeding somewhere and you're getting these wins every day, that really helps buoy your confidence and it translates into your business. So for me, I've just taken on a boxing coach who's been a fighter for many years. He trains champion fighters. Obviously Taekwondo is my first love, but I'm not going to get back to that until spring. And I needed to feel like, you know, I was mastering something and achieving something really worthwhile and meaningful to me outside of my business, so that my focus wasn't entirely on my business. Because when that happens, we become too attached to the outcome. I need to remain detached from the outcome, and that's what I'm doing. And so what I'm finding myself doing after my boxing lessons with this awesome coach who, you know, he's the perfect coach for me. He's not giving me praise very easily. I have to really earn it, and I'm really stepping up in every session. I've had to cancel the last couple because I just couldn't breathe in the last session, but I'm going back Thursday. But in between, I'm thinking about my footwork, I'm thinking about my hands, I'm thinking about my stance, and I'm thinking about it a lot. And that's dragging me away from thinking 24/7 about my business, which is, you know, some people can do that and some people want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't ever want my business to consume me and, you know, every minute of every day. I think that's very one-dimensional and it's pretty boring, and it's boring for the people around you. You need to have a full and rich life, and that includes doing things outside of your business and being excited about things outside of your business. So that point is just make sure that you're focusing on achieving big wins outside of business as well, because that's going to make you feel good, it's going to make you feel confident, and it's also going to translate into your business as well. And the last thing is that you need to ignore your emotions, because emotions are really reactive and they're not based on fact a lot of the time. Fear and self-doubt and you know, not feeling good enough and all that sort of stuff, that's all BS that you create in your mind every day. And so it's so important to base your next move, base your thoughts, base how you want to feel around facts, and then choose the way that you want to feel. You can choose to feel anxious and worried, or you can choose to feel excited. You can choose to focus on and think about feeling worried about things failing and not working out, or you can choose to focus on things going exactly the way you want to plan and how life is going to look after that. You get to choose how you feel, and you get to choose what you focus on, and they're very closely tied together. What you focus on and what you choose to focus on is going to dictate how you feel. If you choose to focus on the negative, you're going to feel like shit. If you choose to focus on the positive, you're going to feel optimistic, you're going to feel uplifted, you're going to be more inspired to act, and you're going to feel more certain that what it is that you're trying to achieve is actually going to come to fruition. So to recap, when you're in that place of upper limiting, when you're stuck in fear, when the shit's hitting the fan and things aren't going right and you're doubting yourself and you're just stuck in that can't pull the trigger, can't pull the trigger, I want you to focus on these three things. The first thing is look at the facts and remember that you started this thing for a reason, and all of the logic and facts are back there. So go and have a look at that, because what happened at the start of the journey and where you are now is just the mess that you've made in your head. All right, so make sure that you go and revisit that. Stay in best case scenario. I'm going to come back to that, Simone. Stay in best case scenario. So always just look at, this is what I thought I could achieve, and just back yourself. Know that when I'm at my best, when I follow through, when I do all the things that I say that I'm supposed to do, when I set this intention, this is what I believed, and this is what I truly believe. Anything under that is going to be okay, but I really believe that I can achieve this. The next thing is focusing on achieving big things outside of your business so that life isn't so one-dimensional, because you want that sense of detachment. If right now I put all of my eggs in one basket and I was going to hinge my success or failure based on whether these events turn out the way we want to, if things don't go to plan, then you know, I'm going to have to spend a lot of time reconfiguring and getting my shit together again to go forward. So it's always just this detachment. It's always, this is what I want, I'm going for it 100%, but it's okay. You know, I'm going to be okay either way. This is what being in business is about. It's about taking risks. You have two choices. You have the choice to go for it, or you have the choice not to do anything. There is no in between. We are always taking risks in our business. Every single day we are taking risks. So, two choices. Do it, don't do it. There is no in between. But when you do it, you have to go for it and give it everything. And then the last thing is ignore emotions, because emotions are reactive and based on, our old limiting beliefs and fears and all that sort of stuff. Choose what to focus on. Focus on the positive, and then the way you feel will be better. So you get to choose how you feel. I'm just going to see if I can find Simone's comment. That's like me. I'm enjoying that I have returned to photo shoots. However, has contributed. Yeah. Okay. Simone, we're going to catch up, so we can have a chat about that. But yeah, everybody just also know, I've been doing this a long time. I've had so many launches. I've had a lot of success, and I still find myself here from time to time. But I have to say, even though I'm unwell, excuse me, runny nose, and all that sort of stuff, I still feel like I'm in a really good mindset. And even when there's things that are coming in to make us question whether we can do this thing, I'm putting it to bed so quickly and so easily, far more easily than I ever have before. And it's just because, I've honed this skill of being able to do that stuff every time. And the more you practice this stuff, the more, the easier it gets. And the thing is, the times that you go to push big, the times that you go big and take a big risk, they're the times that this stuff shows up in full force. It's the whole new level, new devil thing. And this is when you need to really know yourself and look back at all of the stuff that you've done and look for the successes. So what I don't want you doing is going back and saying, well, remember those 27 things that I did, times that I did that and I failed? I want you to go back and look at the, 5 times that you went for something big and you made it happen. And then ask yourself what the difference was. I'm betting that the difference is that in the scenario where you succeeded, you were unwavering in your commitment and your decision to achieve that thing. You showed up fully every day and you did what it took to do it, right? And then the times that you didn't, like I've launched some stuff this year that has gone nowhere. And I look back and it's because I half-assed it. I kind of went, oh yeah, that looks like a great idea. And I convinced myself and I said the words that it was the right thing and I was excited about it and all the rest of it. But at gut level, the alignment just wasn't 100% there. There was something kind of missing. And so when these, the idea for these events landed in my lap, it landed clunk in my gut. And it's like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for all year. This is the feeling that I've been waiting for. And that's what you want. You want to have that clunk. This is the thing that I'm focusing on. This is what feels right. And then it's just a matter of, the upper limit stuff's going to show up. And then it's a matter of just disciplining yourself to work through it. Because as I say, as an entrepreneur, we have 2 choices. We can go for it or we can not. We can not do anything. We can go for it and take risks, or we can do nothing and stay where we are. And if you're an entrepreneur in the first place, you know that that's not where you're going to be comfortable staying forever. And we also know that if we choose that route, if we decide, this is less risky, this is what I'm kind of been doing, and it's okay, it's going to die its own death at some point anyway. So you may as well take control of the situation and say, you know what, right now I'm going to take a risk here, and remind yourself that that's what people in business do. That is what being an entrepreneur is about. It is not a safe route. It is not easy. It's a freaking roller coaster. It always is. Hey, Kelly. So don't expect that it's going to be easy. Don't expect that it's just going to go the way that you want it to, because it just never does. Don't expect that you're never going to have a negative thought. That's just naive. When you take big risks and you go big, all of that stuff's going to show up. You just have to get better and better at dealing with it. And, hand on heart, I feel good about the way I've been dealing with things. Obviously because I was doing too well there and managing my emotions well and managing my mindset well, the universe is throwing this illness at me to go, well, if you're not going to pay attention to all the other stuff, I'm going to get you with this. And so I haven't been able to show up. I haven't been visible every day. because I couldn't talk without having a coughing fit. And so my mind was starting to go, you know, people are going to be thinking, what are they going to be thinking? She's not showing up. She's not going live every day. She's not posting on Snapchat. She's not doing anything. What's happening? And I had to just let that go. You know, I was unwell. I had to just do what it took. And, you know, I'm ready and raring to go again. And here I am. But remember, you know, if you can't pull the trigger on that next big thing and you're stuck in fear, just to recap for the people that have just come on, 4 things. Look at the facts. Remember why you got into this thing in the first place. Remember why you thought it was a good idea. That was all based in fact. There is no difference between when you first started and now, other than the mess that you made in your head. Second thing, stay in best case scenario. You thought you could achieve something huge. Why can't you? You can, you absolutely can. So remind yourself of why you thought that was possible and stay there. I do the numbers on this event every single day. I'm journaling on it every day. I do the event, the numbers every single day, and that calms me down. It reminds me of why we did this in the first place, and that makes me feel grounded and confident and secure. So that's just what I do. Even if it's ridiculous, and even if I journal 3 pages doing the same thing every single day, it actually doesn't matter, because it gets me where I need to be, which is in alignment, believing, forging forward, and feeling good about my decisions. The next thing is focusing on achieving big things outside of your business, so that life is not one-dimensional, so that you can have that sense of detachment. When you're clinging to something with a death grip and you're making everything hinge on that one thing, it's a recipe for disaster. It just doesn't work. So I'm seeing your comment, Simone. So yeah, just make sure that you're doing that stuff outside of it, because you can't be clinging to it. You can't be making this mean everything. Give your life more dimension. Make sure that you're creating success outside of your business. It's going to translate into your business anyway, and then you'll be able to have that sense of detachment about what it is that you're trying to achieve. Detachment is critical. And then ignore your emotions, because they're based on they're reactive. They're not based on anything factual. So make sure that your emotions are based on the thoughts you're choosing to have, and you're choosing to focus on positive things, not negative things. And when you do that, that is when you're going to feel good. When you feel good, you're vibrating at the right level, and that's when the good shiz happens. Anyway, that went on for quite a long time today, because I've got my voice back. Hooray! I'm off to the gym, and I will be back tomorrow. But have an amazing day, and really think about that stuff that I spoke about today. If you're in that place, you know, I feel for you. I really do. I remember when I was first dealing with that stuff, and it used to floor me for a very long time. And you can get there, just keep practicing it. But if you need help, you need a coach, shoot me a message and we can have a chat about how we can work together and how I can help you pull the trigger on that big thing. Anyway, have an amazing day. Bye.